Hannah Chominsky, 2017 CrossFit Games competitor.
Yes.
And
16, 17.
16 and 17?
And 18, yes.
And 18.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah, 3 years. 3 years in a row.
And also rockstar coach at CrossFit Athletic Brookvale.
Oh, don't know about rockstar, but
welcome on the show.
Thank you, Kim, for having me.
Awesome. I'm glad you said yes. How you feeling today?
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
You just trained, you said?
I just trained. Yeah, I actually feel a little bit, I just went to a funeral and a wake yesterday, so I feel a little bit kind of rocked in my world a bit, but nothing that a training session can't kind of sort you out with.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It always helps to sweat it out, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Love it.
And are you just doing classes right now?
Yes, I'm just doing the Metcon. I have a little bit of a shoulder injury, so I retired in January, like with no injuries. I didn't retire because of my shoulder. And then it kind of, something happened in the open. I think maybe a bar muscle up workout. I can't remember exactly which one, but kind of was getting treatment through that to get me through the open and with potentially competing in a team in Wollongong. And then I just thought, no, I don't want to have an injury. I don't want to be spending money treating it. And so like literally just doing Metcon and nothing upper body pushing or pulling, really, no pressing.
That's good. You're,
Metcon is great.
Yeah, people don't realize how much fun that program is.
Well, you can get what you want out of it. You know, you can work as hard or as kind of, you can take it easy if you need to and just kind of go at pace, but you can really get something out of it if you push it.
So how did you decide that, just besides your injury, why did you decide I'm going to do Metcon now?
I just wanted to get in the classes with people. You know, I've been training a lot on my own for probably 3 years now. A lot of the sessions I would come in at 8 o'clock. There's no class at 8 o'clock. It would be just me or Harriet Roberts and I just thought I just want to be in a group again and just train with people and have a laugh along the way and not take it so seriously.
How much more fun is it to train in a class?
So great. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it.
It's crazy because I still talk to people who are just training at a normal gym and you explain what CrossFit is. You know, you get the question, what are you guys doing? What's a class like? And a lot of them have this attitude that, but I could never do a class. That sounds like something I wouldn't want to do. But for me now, I don't know if I would do anything else but a class. Like training by myself at a gym sounds so boring now.
It doesn't interest me at all. Those days are so done for me. Yeah.
It's amazing how it changes.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump back a little bit in your life. Mm-hmm. Let's maybe start with before you even found CrossFit. Do you have any sporting backgrounds from early days?
Not really. I've always been really active. Like I played a lot of tennis growing up. Not really any team sports. It was mainly tennis, and I loved running. I've always been a runner. And so
tennis and running?
Yeah. And surfing a little bit. And when my children were little, that's pretty much all I could do. Like Chris would get home from work and I would like pass him a child and say, I'm going for a run. And would run and just do like city to surf, nothing major, like no major races or marathons or anything, just running, just for the sake of running really. And I got bored with that. I just thought, I need to do something else. And actually how I found CrossFit was I would run past, CrossFit Athletic used to have a trailer with a logo with our logo on it, and it was parked down on Old Pittwater Road, and I used to run past it, and I was on the logo is the Olympic rings, a rower, and I think someone doing a snatch maybe, or it could be a deadlift.
There was a barbell.
There's a barbell. I can't remember what movement, and I was like, that looks really interesting. I wonder what that is. And then I just called up and spoke to Christian.
Wow.
Yeah, this was like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, come down and have a look, see what we're all about. And then went down and met Christian and had a good old chat to him, mainly about South America actually, because I think we'd both been to South America for a decent amount of time. And then he did an assessment on me and said, you want to come and do a class tomorrow? So I came. I think you were there as well, maybe.
This is the previous location,
right? Yeah, previous location. And then I was like, I'll just sign up for 2 times a week because I'm doing running and surfing and got a young family, and I did that one class, and then Christian was like, how did you feel? How did you like that? And I was like, yeah, just sign me up full time. And that's pretty much it. I just did 5 classes, maybe 6 classes a week from then on in. Yeah, I loved it from the go.
Yeah. Do you remember what you loved about that first class?
I think I was really, really inspired by what I saw other people doing, not so much what I was doing or how I felt, but I remember it was you guys, I'm pretty sure it was you, Christian, Wall, Kaz, Philly and Rach training for regionals or the games or something like that, and the 6 of you were training and you were doing rope climbs and Philly was doing pull-ups, like butterfly pull-ups. I just remember thinking, wow, that is just so cool. I want to do that. And it was just like pretty much an instant goal for me to just get to that level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I loved how much fun you were having. You were laughing and you were encouraging each other. And for me, at a time in my life where I kind of really struggled with 2 small children, I found it really lonely. So to come in and have this kind of environment of people just supporting each other and encouraging them and like, get up the rope and you can do it and come on, and just pushing was just like, yeah, I can fit in here. This is my place.
You must have come on a day when Wall was in a good mood.
Yeah, maybe. He didn't have kids then. So, actually, I don't know if he's gotten as less moody since he's got kids or what.
I've heard he got less moody.
Yeah, I think he is.
I'm just joking. Obviously, we were in a very good space back that year. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
I can't remember us ever having any dramas with the team because it was pretty clear cut who was going, and we all had this goal to go to the games. So we just enjoyed the journey.
Yeah.
Okay, so you came in, got a class with Cristiano, did an assessment, and then started doing the classes and rolled on. And you were pretty fit right from the get-go, if I remember right, but you just needed to pick up some of the skills. Is that correct?
Like I had no gymnastic skills. I'd never picked up a barbell. I'd actually never even done a bench press before or a wall ball or any of that. So I was like really, really fresh. But I've always had like determination to like cross country for me always came third, and it pissed me off. I never came first. I never came second. I was always third, but I was always just trying my hardest. And I just feel like CrossFit allows you to just try your hardest, and you can only do what you can on a day, but it allows you that 1 hour or whatever to just kind of be the best you can.
Yeah. If you have that go get it attitude, it's really going to help in CrossFit because there's so much stuff going on, so many skills you need to learn, so many, like you can always get fitter. So if you have that right attitude, it's going to take you a long way.
Oh, and I think I saw that, like I said, from that first day, I was like, I want to take this somewhere. I want to do pull-ups. I couldn't even do one, but I want to do butterfly pull-ups like Philly Robinson.
Yeah. That's mad.
Yeah.
Did you have anything in particular, any skills or any part of CrossFit there in the beginning that you were kind of scared of?
I think skipping definitely for me was something I was scared of.
Double unders?
I just never did it. I think having 2 small children as well, I just wet my pants every time I skip. So I was like, I'm just never going to skip. So whenever double unders were programmed, I was just like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And then I think the other thing that scared me a little bit was just snatch has always been like a bit of an issue for me.
Yeah. That is a very common one for a lot of people. But some people go through this journey as well where they're like scared of the snatch and they fear it and they don't really enjoy it. And then eventually it kind of becomes their favorite. Some people do.
It's still not my favorite. I have a relationship with snatch that's probably not healthy.
Okay. Cool. Now, when did you, actually, it sounds like it was right from the get-go, but I'll ask anyway. When did you decide that you wanted to compete in the sport? Or when did you understand that it was a sport that you could compete in?
I think probably when my mum was sick and I was kind of caring for her in an illness, and unfortunately she passed away, and it was a really kind of traumatic time for me. But I was like, I was able to kind of focus a lot of energy into one particular thing, which was CrossFit, outside of caring for my mum. And I just knew that this was a goal that I wanted to achieve. And I was like, if I can get through the death of my mum, I started like having visualizations of me getting to the games, and I was like, I want to do it for me, but I want to do it for her because I'd spoken about it. So I was just very, very clear, like I was going. There was no way that I was not going to qualify. Yeah,
that's such a strong motivator, isn't it?
Yeah, like I pictured myself before I qualified actually signing the bag. I'm signing a little bit of paper that say, they go, hi. And I'm like, I'm Hannah Chominsky. I'm here at the CrossFit Games. Where do I sign? And they were like, okay, come this way and we'll give you your kit. You know, like I just had this vision. If I didn't qualify, it'd be like a bad dream. I'd woken up and it was like, no, you got it wrong. I did actually qualify. So I was just very, very clear about that.
And did you tell Wall and Christian early that you wanted to go to the games? Or was that something you did?
Yeah,
okay. And what did they say?
I remember Wall telling me that if I wanted to qualify for the old chook category, like in the 40 to 44, I would have to qualify in the top 100 women in Australia, like open category.
Oh, yeah.
So, and he was like, that will kind of indicate where you're sitting in the field. And I think that year I I qualified in the top 100, and then I think the following year I qualified like 33rd, and then qualified as an indie for regionals. But yeah, he was like, always so supportive. He was just like, okay, if that's what you want. I think he knew, because I was like caring for my mum. I think he knew the determination that I had for that, and he was very, very supportive and helpful, to help me with my goal.
Yeah, I'm sure as well he could see that you were willing to put in the work, which is a big thing. That because having been a coach as well, you hear people want to go to the games, and then you see them training and kind of skipping this and skipping that and not doing this, not doing that. But you would, I've never heard that about you.
No, Wal always says to me, I'm not the prettiest, but as in my technique isn't the prettiest, but I'm really good at grunt work. Like I will never give up. I will just keep going. Yeah. And if I see someone to the left of me that's getting ahead of me, or to the right, I'm like, I'm going for them. Like
You're a bit competitive.
I'm a little bit competitive. Yeah.
Now, alongside this journey of trying to make it to the games, did you already back then start to think, I want to coach as well?
I think so. Like I always wanted to be a nurse, like the whole way through school, and then I have a really terrible fear of blood, so it just wasn't going to happen. And if I wasn't going to be a nurse, I wanted to work in maybe in schools, like helping people achieve fitness goals and things like that. So I kind of always have, like I said, been athletic and wanted to be around fitness. And I just kind of fell in love with CrossFit Athletic, not so much just CrossFit, but athletic, like what Christian and Wal had built. I could really see the value in that in people's lives. Yeah.
When you train there as much as you did even back then, even if you didn't want to, you learn a bit about how to coach and what they're looking for. And you're not a lot with yourself, but also with other people that you train with, right?
Yeah.
So did you kind of jump on and do a level one, or how did this whole coaching journey start?
To be honest with you, I can't actually remember, but I think I just went and did, is it level 3 and 4? What is that?
Cert 3 and 4.
Sorry, Cert 3 and 4.
Yeah. You might not have done the CrossFit level 1. I don't think.
Oh no, I did.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
okay,
I did. Yeah, so I did that, and then I did Cert 3 and 4. And yeah, look, because I've got a landscaping business with my husband, and I just wanted something more like outside of that, because that's very much a home business, and we've had it for a long time. It's a successful business thanks to my husband and how clever he is, and but yeah, I just wanted something else, and actually since I've started doing that, I've been keen to study more and more. It's been it's my journey now as well. It's a
never-ending journey, really. Yeah, that learning about training and fitness. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So to jump slightly to a different topic, because you just mentioned Chris, your husband, as well. Did you start before Chris and then he jump on later?
No, I started before Chris, and it took me about 2 years or 3 years even to get him to come along. He was just like, no.
Why didn't he want to do it?
He just was, I think he saw it as my thing. And actually I didn't want to share it with him initially, because it was my thing. I was like, no, I go somewhere away from you and our children, and it's my space. Yeah. And then I was just like, this is so beneficial for me. It could be so beneficial for you and so many other people. Like, you should come down. Apart from what we're doing to our bodies, like the community of people there was amazing. So anyway, I got Chris down, and similar thing. He was like, I'm just going to come. I'll just do 2 classes a week. And then I think he did 2 classes and went, all right, sign me up full time. And he's been like, he trains 5 times a week now as well. And
he loves it now. I see him in the classes. Yeah.
If something comes up at work and he can't make it, he gets down about that. So he doesn't take it as seriously as me. Like, he has no ego. I have a bit of an ego. I hate being beaten, whereas he doesn't care who beats him.
He definitely gets competitive with himself, doesn't he? Like, he always tries to do better. Yeah. Watching him at the CFA regionals, I think, was the first time I've seen him.
That is the first time I've seen him really, like, he tried really hard. Yeah. Like that snatch double under workout, I was like, yeah, baby. He was doing so well.
That was so funny. There were some good photos of you and him.
Yeah.
On that one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He was a bit upset with me in the open because I didn't judge him at all in the open, and I said I would. But then things came up, whereas I was going to judge him, and then Chris doesn't really like to be coached by me. I don't know if you've ever found that, like family members don't generally like to listen to what you tell them to do.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to argue with me. Like if I tell him he's done 10 reps, he'll go, no, I haven't, I've done 12 kind of thing. So I was like, maybe I won't. And then I said, no, at CFA Regionals, I will be there. I will judge you. Yeah. I'll be by your side.
Did he enjoy that?
He loved it.
Yeah.
He wants to qualify again. He's already like, what is he, open again in October? And then we're having the CFA regionals in February, I think.
I don't know. I haven't heard the date, but
Okay.
I definitely have heard this.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to go again. I want to qualify.
Just for any CFA members that are thinking about qualifying, there will be a lot more people trying to qualify this coming season. I'm get confused. 2020 season, or it's still 2019 when the Open is around.
Yeah.
But either way, next CFA regionals, I think it's
Yeah.
going to be a lot more competitive because everyone that did it loved that event.
It was so great, wasn't it? I mean, I didn't compete, but I just being there and just watching everybody, the way it was run and find your own judge. And I just thought it was
The
a
workouts,
fantastic
everything.
weekend.
Yeah.
Getting outside, having, and maybe now it's in February, maybe we have a swim next time as well. Like, that would be good.
Get ready, Maddie, forward.
Yeah.
Quick story about the ocean. I, for the first time yesterday, saw a shark in the water.
Oh, wow.
Well, this is the first time I've definitely know that it was a shark. I've seen stuff in the water before, and I'm like, oh, I think maybe that's a shark. But yesterday, surfing at Mona Vale,
what kind of shark do you think?
we don't know. There was a few guys in the water, and it was small, so it wasn't scary. It's maybe a meter and a half long, but it fully swam through the lineup for quite a while. So you could look at it and be like, oh, I don't know. Look at it and keep looking at it. I'm like, no, that's definitely a shark.
Not a dolphin, definitely a shark. Yeah.
Just telling that story so Maddie Forward won't get too scared to train for the swim next year.
Yeah, he's out already, I can tell.
No, it was fun. I mean, that's what I thought as well about the CFA regionals. When Tash had the idea and she told us, I was like, this is going to be great. And that gave me a little bit of a goal for the Open because I do the Open. I'm always going to do the Open, but I didn't really have a goal at all before that. So
you were very competitive.
Yeah.
You were like every week. That first workout of wall balls and rowing.
Not so competitive.
Messed a few people up.
Yeah.
I was like, right now I've got to crawl back.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the coaching bit before we do the competitive bit with you. Do you remember the first time you coached a class?
Oh my God, I was so nervous.
How scary is it?
I think my first classes coaching was actually at Mona Vale.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not Brookvale, I think. But maybe a couple of months with Sean. But then I was...
You did some shadowing, you mean?
No, I never shadowed. I literally went, I feel like I was thrown right in the deep end. I was like, and actually in a way, I guess going to Mona Vale made it a little bit easier for me because I didn't know the members at Mona Vale. So I didn't have to be scared of anybody because they didn't know me and I didn't know them.
Yeah.
So I did a couple of months at Mona Vale, which I loved. I loved working with Sean. He's such a great guy and just a huge amount of knowledge from him as far as lifting goes. And we'd also been to the games together. Like he was quite a massive support for me going to the games. So I had built kind of a relationship with Sean that I was, a lot of trust there and I felt comfortable with him. So that was great. But then after Mona Vale, I started coaching with Wall Tuesday nights and I was just like, I was like, I researched that workout. Like, I'm like, the warm up is going to be this. We're going to do this timeline, and this is how it's going to happen, and I can't mess up. And I
was just going to ask you about that. How well prepared were you for those classes?
I feel like I still am very well prepared. Like I make sure I know exactly what I'm doing before I go in and coach any class. But Tuesday night with Wall was like nerve-wracking for probably a good 6 months. Yeah. Maybe longer even.
Why were you nervous about it, do you think? Is it to tell people what to do or what not to do?
Yeah, because I'd always been on the other side, and I had to kind of get people to trust me because I was so fresh and new. And, Wall and Jared and Kaz and those guys just know so much about what they're doing and such great coaches that I didn't want to fail in any way. I wanted to make sure that I was a good coach and still want to be a good coach. I guess I just wanted to impress them in a way that they would think I was worthy. Yeah.
It's tough, but some things that people in a class never think about is even the logistics of a class, especially at Brookvale, I think. Because at Mona, it's kind of easier because it's a bigger gym and a smaller group. So the logistics of the class is fairly straightforward. Everyone has their space and their equipment. But sometimes in Brookie, it's packed and you just got to... Jared on Easter Monday or whenever it was, one coach and 40 6 people or something.
Yeah.
That's
you
stressful.
have to have your wits about you. You have to know what's going to happen. And you have to be prepared for people to say they've got an injury and they can't do this movement and I need to sub this and that. And so you have to kind of forecast who you think is going to be there and what you may need to do in regards to that as well.
On the flip side though, what were some of the best parts after, because I think it's super enjoyable to coach. Like I love, even though I don't do it anymore, I loved coaching. What were some of the best parts about coaching for you in the beginning, and what was surprising after you did a few classes?
I guess like having people come up to you at the end of the class and thank you, like that was great. I had a really good class and thank you for helping me here or there. That's always a bonus. But like seeing people achieve things, particularly women, you know, who come in and do Olympic lifting, who maybe come and do the assessment and say, I'm not interested in Olympic lifting and I don't want muscles like you, as in me, Hannah. What's wrong with my muscles? I think they scare some people. So, you know, but then they see how like amazing it is to be able to take a barbell from the ground and throw it above your head. And for them to achieve some of those goals was always like, that's pretty special for me. And pull-ups, like, you know, women who come in and say, I want to just get one strict pull-up, and getting them there, like getting them to pull and get their chin above the bar was always like, you know, that's a high five moment there.
Never gets old, does it?
Never gets old. I remember I couldn't do one. I would like hold onto the bar and then use my legs to kind of climb up like a ladder. I was like
the running man.
Yeah. So no, I know what that feels like to get those first, you know, few pull-ups.
Yeah. You've had from memory, you've had a bit of a journey with pull-ups, chest to bars, and muscle-ups, and like how you've been a bit nervous for them with competition and stuff. Is that right? Like you've never felt that was a strength of your CrossFit game?
Not really. More barbell stuff for me. I used to actually, chest to bar and snatch are the two things that would always kind of worry me, just because usually there are high reps in chest to bar. So things like muscle ups and bar muscle ups or ring muscle ups never really concerned me, but chest to bar for some reason did.
Until in the open.
Yeah, in the open, and then moving forward into the games. And then I realized I was just holding my breath. I had this like mental block with chest to bar, and I was like, why can I only ever string like 8 to 10 together and then I've got to drop off? And then I'm like, I'm holding my breath. And that's why. And like as soon as I realized what I was doing, I mean, I'm a slow learner. It took me a long time to realize that. But I was like, mate, I could do them all day. So yeah. But yeah, I guess for me, not having a gymnastics background and then having old shoulders as well that, you know, don't perform the best. I guess you're right. Yeah, maybe they did concern me a little bit.
I just remember, you talking about it before workouts in the open, and they made you a little bit nervous. But then, after a while, you were crushing them anyway. I didn't.
I love pull-ups.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So competing and qualifying for your first open in first games in 2016.
Yep.
Give me a little rundown of how the Masters Open worked out, and like, were you looking at the numbers and were you close to qualifying or missing out, or how did that go?
I missed out the previous year, so 2015. I missed out by like 3 spots or 5 spots or something like that, and I was crushed. And I just knew then, never wanted to feel like that again. So I just was like, I'm qualifying next year. There was no two ways about it. And so when the workouts came out, I was like really nervous. I remember I would just go to the toilet like 6 times, like even with the announcement, Dave Castro announcing, I'm like, let's just pause. I got to go to the toilet. It was really terrible. And then for me, because the Masters you would do your workouts and then the qualifier is pretty soon after. It's changed a bit this year, but I think you had like 2 or 3 weeks and then you had to do the Masters qualifier, and you took your open score with you as your first workout. So if you qualified 50th, then you took 50 points. So obviously the better you did, the better you were going to stand up against the qualifying workouts. And I did every single workout twice, like without
the
fail.
Masters,
the Open.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I'd do the Open on a Friday or a Saturday, and then come Tuesday morning, I would redo it. And Wal was there every time with the redo, and I never wanted to redo it, but I knew that I had to go to that dark place, and every rep or every second counted. So I went in there, and I just every Tuesday morning. So it was a really long process. It started on Friday and it went right through until Tuesday, 10 o'clock. And then I'd sit there on my phone just leaderboarding it and going, oh, where am I? And so in that first year that I qualified, I remember waiting with anticipation. I had to redo a workout that was 21-15-9 of rowing and thrusters. So 21 cal row, 21 thrusters.
I think it was 27, 25.
No,
Wasn't it
so
more?
The Masters
Oh, sorry,
qualifier
Masters.
one,
That's right.
21, 15, 9. Row cows and thrusters.
Full sprint.
A full sprint. And I think I did it, I want to say 3 minutes or something like that. I can't remember. But Wal said to me, you're going to have to get that under 3 minutes. Like, you have to. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Like, literally going to die. And Benny Gorman came in and he said, I'll do it with you and I'll just pace you. So we set the rowers up in like like facing each other. And I remember thinking I was actually going to pass out on the set of 9s. Like, I could just start to black out and just go really weird for me, but knew that I just had to hold on. And I collapsed on the ground and I did not move for about 45 minutes. I think Wal may have pulled me out of the way so that the class could start, but I felt so sick that I couldn't move. But I was about to find out if I'd qualified for my first games. And so I lay on the floor and then I crawled to the front of the gym and I turned on my phone and I'd logged my score and I just waited. And then I was like, oh my God, I qualified. And I think I qualified 8th in the end.
8th out of 20.
8th out of 20. I remember phoning Sean Cousins and saying, no, he messaged me and he said, you qualified, mate. And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, you fucking qualified. And I'm like, I don't know yet. Is it dream? Like, is it real? And he just had to send me like 5 messages. You did, you qualified. And I don't think I've ever been so happy. Like, qualifying 8th and making it to my first games was amazing. Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so funny that you were still in kind of delirious after the workout.
And actually I couldn't really celebrate or post anything or tell any of my friends until I'd got that letter from CrossFit HQ to say, congratulations, you've qualified for the games. But when that email came, I was down in Wollongong competing in a team at regionals and massive celebration.
Awesome. And how was it for you going to, so was that in Madison or was that in LA?
That was in LA.
That was the last year in LA, wasn't it? Yeah.
To be honest with you, I absolutely hated that experience. I was like a deer in the headlights. I didn't know what I'd got myself into. I got over there and I was like, surely I'd be prepared for the LA heat, their summer. I was so hot. I couldn't cool down. And I was just really, really nervous.
Yeah.
And the first day we had this big chipper and it was down in the
tennis stadium?
No, not the tennis stadium.
On the grass?
On the grass.
I think that's the football stadium.
The football stadium. Yeah. So we were down in the football stadium with the big chipper and it was deadlifts and skipping and I couldn't skip. Oh my God, I broke every 3 skips and wall balls into the blaring hot sun. And I just hated it. I was like throwing like 150 wall balls. I'm like, why am I even here? This is horrible. Like, I'm hurting and I'm hot and I just want to go home. And anyway, the next workout was snatch and muscle ups. It was kind of like Amanda, but a slightly heavier barbell maybe. And anyway, I pulled an intercostal muscle on like the 6th muscle up and was just in a world of pain. And it was just, really...
the last thing you want when you're already
really tough. And that games they took only the top 10 through to the final. And I remember thinking, please don't qualify. Please don't qualify. Please don't qualify. I don't want to make the final. I mean, what kind of mindset is that? You're at the games and you're saying you don't want to go right through to the end. I mean, that's how I was just really out of my comfort zone.
It's so different when you're over there because you don't really know many, if any at all, people in the stadium. It's all Americans around you. It just doesn't feel like home, right?
It didn't feel right for me. Wal wasn't there. He couldn't come that year. Christian and Sean were the coaches and they were great. But I just, like, once I pulled the intercostal muscle, I couldn't warm anything up. Like, I couldn't warm up a toast bar. Everyone was warming up for clean and jerk. And Sean was on one end of a barbell. Christian was on the other. They'd put it on my front rack and then I'd try and squat it or on my back. And it was just, I was just in pain and just really, really didn't like it. But I did at the end of it, I think maybe on the plane home or when I got home, realised that part of the reason I didn't enjoy it was I didn't allow myself to enjoy what an amazing experience it was.
Yeah.
And then I was really kind of hating on myself for that. I was like, that's dumb. You did all that work. You trained so hard. You qualified for the CrossFit Games in a category that is really, really hard. Never let that happen again where your mind tells you this is too hard.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going back and I'm going to make it a very different experience, which it was. And I was lucky enough to go back.
Yeah, so you straight away kind of decided to go back, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seem to remember you coming back and you said something along the lines of, this is probably maybe a month after you came back and you you kind of took it for granted going over there.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Which is, I hear that a lot. People going over there not having a good experience, and then they look back at it and they're like, I was there. I should have
Why didn't I just enjoy the moment?
Yeah.
You know, like I remember being corralled and just like feeling physically sick about what I was going to have to do. And I wasn't scared of like doing any of the movements necessarily, apart from snatch. But I just didn't appreciate how amazing it was. And I couldn't understand why there was other women there, like some of my great competitors like Janet Black and Annie Sakamoto, and they were laughing at the corrals and they were like having a great time. I'm like, how can they be enjoying this?
How good is Annie?
This is hot. Oh, mate, she is the best. She's one of the best humans out there.
She is one of the absolute best CrossFitters I've ever met. She is incredible. Maybe the best spokesperson we've ever had.
I actually learned so much from her that year, because at the end of it, watching her, and like she's so little and she crushes everything. Like she just dominates everything.
Best attitude.
And I remember watching the final in the tennis stadium, and I didn't, luckily for me then, I didn't make it. But I remember watching her and just going, she's actually enjoying this. That's how I want to feel competing. I want to feel when I'm out there hurting that this is actually enjoyable as well. Yeah. So she taught me a lot that year.
Awesome. So then you came back the next year in 2017 and it was moved to Madison. And I met you there kind of in the lead up training in some of the local gyms in Madison, and you definitely seemed like you were in a much better space. You and Kylie were there.
It was so good. That was the best year of my CrossFit career, I think. Apart from Wall made me really sick. Like,
that's right. Was that on the flight?
He was really sick going over, and he came on the flight, and I was lucky enough to be in business class, and he was back in the cattle class, and he just had like this horrible flu. And he says even to this day that he probably shouldn't have gone on that flight. He should have maybe stayed in Sydney and then come over a bit later. But I was pretty adamant that I wanted Wall by my side for my second games experience. But we had, I think, about a week leading up to the games where we trained at CrossFit Recursive.
Yeah.
And it was so good. We trained with Darren Coughlin and Zeke Grove, and it was just so much fun, except for I ended up getting really sick. So we knew there was there was going to be a run, swim, run in the first event. They'd announced what it was. So we had to swim in the lakes in Madison, which are disgusting. If you've ever been there, it's like a swamp. There's duck shit and seaweed and it's horrible, like horrible. It is a swamp. And one day we were out there and there was this like kind of long jetty. It goes for about maybe 10 meters. And Wall and Daz were standing on the end of the jetty, and they're like trying to stand upright. That's how choppy it was. Like it was literally, they were like almost doing a sumo like squat. Yeah,
it was windy, right?
It was really windy. And Wall was like made Kylie, myself, and Zeke run, and we did. I think it was not a big run, maybe 2Ks, and then we had to get straight into the water. So it was like, get your shoes off, get into the water, and then swim from one buoy to the next. It was so choppy, and Kylie and I were like drowning. We were like, you know, how
swallowing a bit of water,
and we're coughing and spluttering, and we're like hands up in the air like we're drowning, and Wall's just like his hand up, he's going, keep swimming, and I'm like, how can he make us do this? Anyway, Zeke does one swim from one buoy to the next, and then Darren Coughlin pulls him out of the water and he gets out. I'm like, why is he letting him get out? And Wall's making us swim. He made us swim like 3 times back around these buoys, and we got out, Kylie and I got out of the water. We were like drowned rats, literally. We were like coughing. And like I was vomiting water for about 4 hours after it. Wall was laughing. He was filming me. He thought it was hilarious. And I'm like cramping. I'm vomiting so much. And anyway, I got really sick from that moment on. I got water in my lungs, I'm sure of it. And yeah. But, you know, he did say, like, it's not going to get worse than this. Imagine competing on the day and it's like this. Well, you've already done it. You know that's going to suck and you know what it's going to feel like. On the day of the first event, it was perfect conditions. It was cold. It was freezing cold. It was raining, but it wasn't choppy. It wasn't raining. And so I ended up doing really well in the run swim mile. I think I came second or third.
Yeah, you were really high up. Remember that. Yeah. So you should, as an Aussie.
Annie Sakamoto beat me.
Did she?
Yeah, but she's a really, really good swimmer. I mean, she kind of has a similar climate to us. So I think, and then there was a triathlete that came first. Annie came second and I came third in that one.
Yeah. Tell me about what it's like in the back, behind the scenes. Let's not go through all the events. I think that gets a bit boring for people hearing about thrusters and pull-ups again and again. Yeah. But I love the stuff behind the scenes and meeting other athletes and the chit-chat that goes on. Yeah. In the warm-up area and
It's
stuff.
really, really, really cool. Like in Madison, they have this massive stadium inside where everybody warms up, and it's like the biggest gym you've ever seen in your life. There's like 40 rowers, 40 assault bikes, 40 ski ergs, 40 of everything, a massive rig, mats, balls, dumbbells, barbells, you name it. It's huge. And then all of the athletes that qualified plus their coaches.
All the individual open athletes as well, right?
Yeah. So you've got, there's like a little section where you've got the individual athletes, but they still come into the main area and you know, warm up and see their coaches and sit on bikes and stuff like that. So you have everybody there and you can see everybody. It's really cool, and all the teams.
Were you starstruck by anyone?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Who?
I mean, who probably Sarah and I don't know why even, and maybe Tia Claire Toomey, like definitely she's amazing, and she is so gracious with her time. Like she always says hello to everybody. Probably more the women I was starstruck with than the boys, but yeah, and then just really starstruck actually with the competitors in my age group because they're amazing. They're so bloody fit and strong. And
who are some of the top girls there? Who are you looking up to there?
Definitely Annie, Janet Black as well. I mean, she's been in, I think this is her 9th year, and she's been to the games and she's won it or come 2nd or 3rd. So probably definitely those two would be my biggest, and Sema Berber as well. Yeah. Yeah. So the 4 of us. And that year, my first year at Madison was just, I just said to myself, I'm as good as them. I can do this. I can beat them in workouts. Like, and I'm going to beat them in workouts. And it was a really, really good experience. Wall was out the back just warming me up. I didn't have to think. He'd just go pick up a barbell and do this, or get on the bike and do that. And, you know, I was a lot calmer. Like second time round, I was like, I'm really going to enjoy this every time I hit. And I was having fun being corralled. You know, they put you in there, and, you know, sometimes they corral you and you don't actually compete for like 30 minutes or 40 minutes. And so you're just there with, you know, 20 other women, same age as you. Most of them have got kids, and whether it's their first time, second or third time, it was just fun. It was a really good experience.
What was your favorite event that year?
The one I won, of course. The one it was, I won't tell you exactly what the workout is.
No, you can tell us that one.
It was running. Sure. I think it was 400 meter run.
The burpee box jump?
The burpee box jump overs, and what was the other thing? Was it squats? I should know this.
Air squats.
Air squats. Yeah. And it was in a vest. Yeah. So it was in a weighted vest. And
you were out in was that out in the hay thing?
Yeah. And it was really, really hot, and we'd been fitted for our vests, and we were all out there ready to go. And
quick question in there. Did you already think I might win this workout?
Yes. I kind of knew that this is me. I'm really good, like Wal says, at like those grunting workouts. And also the running lab, Tim Branson was there as well, and he'd given me a few tips about how to execute this workout. And I did pretty much exactly what he said. And I remember Wal saying to me, just don't mess this one up, because I'd messed up the previous workout due to a few different things, but yeah, I didn't execute that one well, and I was like, let's just do this one well. Don't make any mistakes. Just go do your thing. And all I could hear was, oh God, who's the Australian commentator?
Rookie.
All I could hear Rookie was going, and here's Sema Berber, and here's Helen Harding, and he didn't really mention my name. And I'm like, I'm fucking almost winning this. Why aren't you calling my name, Rookie? And then, like, Helen Harding's behind me. I'm in front of her, and he's going, and Helen Harding, she's going to have to pick up the pace if she wants to take out this event. And I'm like, as soon as he said that, I'm like, she is not taking out this event. And then I could see in my periphery Sema Berber.
Were you in the lead?
No, I was coming second pretty much the whole way. Like, Sema was well in front of me. And I could see her in my periphery. But I also knew a little bit about her as an athlete, and knew that I could.
She's fading a little bit.
Yeah, she was fading. I was getting closer and closer to her through the rounds, and there's no way I was going to let Helen Harding beat me on this one. She was behind me, and I was going to make sure she stayed there. And then I heard Rookie on the last lap coming in, and Sema was still in front of me, and we had our box jumps and air squats to do. And he's like, Sema Berber's going to take out this event. Hannah Chominsky's not far behind, but she's going to have to be careful because Helen Harding is coming up right behind her. She's going to have to push hard. And Sema Berber, she's holding on. And then, Hannah Chominsky is taking the lead. Hannah's got 3 burpee box jumps left over and Hannah's won. And I just ran across. It was such a good feeling. It was almost as good as winning a spot to the games, like taking out an event. Because you know you're going to get interviewed. And Nick Zielinski was there and he was like, Hannah, come over. And that was so cool. Except for I swore, I didn't mean to, because I could hear Rookie just screaming in the background, just going, Hannah, Hannah. Yeah, it was really cool.
It's so fun when you get those wins, coming from slightly from behind and everyone fades and you just know that you got it.
Oh, it was so good. I mean, I remember being corralled in that one and just coughing up huge oysters. I was so sick with this horrible cough and cold that Wall had given me. And I was like, this is my event. How can I be sick for this event? And just the other women, because there was a delay in that one, were just looking at me going, oh, you're disgusting. Are you okay? And I'm like, I'm really sorry. This croupy cough is really bad. But then I was like, I have to win an event. I have to win it. And that was really, really cool. Yeah. Plus, I'm good at burpees like you, Kimbo. We have to win a burpee event, right?
Yeah, we're short, so so it's not the worst movement for us.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, no, that is a good one to win. Yeah. So, how did you place at the end of it all in 2017?
I came 7th.
Yeah. 7th out of 20. It's not bad, Hannah.
Oh, I was very happy. Yeah. I mean, obviously, standing on on the podium would have been better. Unfortunately, I really messed up 2 events in that haunted me. Probably for a good 6 months after. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, devastated at me making these mistakes. And one of them was the obstacle course. I just stupidly jumped over the rope instead of before the rope, but I didn't just do it once. I did it twice, and it cost me 3 places. And I could have won that event and would have picked up another 100 points. Yeah. And then, of course, the snatch. That came back to haunt me. We had a 1RM snatch, and I just was snatching so well in the lead up and then just couldn't pull it together on the day. Yeah. Got
to remember as well that some of these girls that you're mentioning that's ahead of you, like Annie, for instance.
Yeah.
When you started CrossFit, Annie, she'd already done it for probably 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
She's OG.
Yeah. So she's got a workout named after her, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
She's like best buddies with Dave Castro.
Yeah. So it is a little bit different. I mean, or a little bit unfair. They've had a big head start on when you started. So coming back here and then starting a new season, because you said the first year you didn't really enjoy it, that fired you up to go again. And then the second year you more than likely had your best year. Why did you decide to go again?
Because it's just such a cool experience, being over there and qualifying and the whole process. And I still just really love the sport and believed that I could still do better. I've got more in me. I can do more of this. I had to give my shoulder a bit of a break because I've had shoulder injuries pretty much since I started. And so I kind of couldn't really snatch properly. I could power snatch, but I couldn't drop into a full snatch, things like that. So I knew that I had to get my shoulders working a bit better, but I was determined to go back again.
So you did still had a bit of a fire in your belly by the sounds of it. Yeah. Talking about your shoulder, did you do what did you do to get it better? Is there anything that you can kind of share with people that helped you improve it?
Didn't really push anything too much. So I knew that full snatch was really painful for me. So I just never full snatched. I only power snatched.
Did you still do pull-ups and stuff like that?
Yes, I did. Yep. Yeah. But just treatment. I've spent a lot of money on treatment.
And what do you mean when you say treatment? What did you actually do?
Just would go once a week or once a fortnight and
to a chiro or a physio?
Yeah, but both physio and chiro. Yeah. And then actually the thing that fixed it was windmills.
Oh wow! Yeah. Okay. The exercise. Yeah.
The exercise. So
an exercise we don't do too often. But it's a kettlebell exercise. You're holding it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. You're holding it, and let's say
above
in your right hand.
Yep.
Yeah. And you press it. You have a straight arm, kind of pressing it, holding it over your head, and then your left arm is going to go down to your feet.
That's it. So there's some internal and external rotation there through the shoulder. And just when I first started doing it, I couldn't do it with any weight. I could only look up at my hand.
How come you couldn't do it? Did you shoulder collapse? Or?
Yeah, I just would collapse. Wow. I just had no strength. I mean, it's amazing that I could, throw my body weight above my head in a snatch, but couldn't do this simple movement in a windmill. And it was balance performance that helped me. Like Nick got me to do it as part of my rehab. And then I just started doing it with no weight. And then I progressed to 2 kilos, and then I went to 3 kilos, and then I went to 4 and then 5. And I could probably do it with an 8 kilo kettlebell now. Nothing, I still couldn't do it very heavy. But it just, I don't know what it was. It just worked. It just fixed me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I never from the second year, I never thought too much about it. It wasn't something like when I hurt myself with the intercostal, I was really worried about my body and how it was responding to different things. And I kind of maybe focused too much on that. And then I was just like, it is what it is. You've got a bad shoulder. Just don't think about it. Just keep doing what you're doing. And
how many CrossFitters competitive CrossFitters have bad shoulders?
Yeah. Well, we've all got something going on, right?
Yeah, that's true. So in 2018, did you have any good stories from that year? It was back to Madison. But by the way, did you enjoy Madison compared to LA? Just the city?
I loved it. It was really good, really welcoming city, and more like it just greener. It's kind of a little bit more like here, I guess. The people were amazing. I know I wanted to go back. Yeah. Did you have any? Who went with you that year? Like which coaches? I kind of ran on my own. I mean, Christian was there with the team. But they went to Chicago first, and I went straight to Madison. And I had
Did Chris come with you?
Chris came, but he didn't come until like the day before I competed. So I had a week on my own in Madison, which I loved.
Completely by yourself?
Completely by myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
I just did my own thing at my own pace. I ate when I wanted to. I trained when I wanted to. I slept when I wanted to. And it was really, really relaxing. I loved it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy kind of being not being by yourself, but, having running your own schedule and just doing it? Yeah.
Definitely. And
I love that as well.
Also like having a family as well and having people talking to you all the time, and I didn't have to talk to anybody, and it was just so nice. I'm quite a private person, and so, for me, I could just do my thing without having to explain my thing to anyone. And
Same conversation again. Yeah. That's mad. So when you went to the gyms, so for those who don't know, Madison is a lot smaller than LA, and there's very few, well, not very few, but there's not that many CrossFit gyms there. So in the week leading up to the games, you go and do your training at a CrossFit gym, you're probably going to run into some other people that also are training for the games.
Well, last year they actually opened up the training area for the athletes a week prior to the games.
Oh, at the stadium?
At the stadium, so which was really helpful. So I went and trained at the stadium, which is really good because you kind of get the lay of the land again, and you kind of figure out where you need to be and how, like where the Uber's going to drop you off and pick you up from and all that kind of stuff, because it's massive. It's a pretty big event. So I went to Recursive a few times, and there was not actually many athletes there. Everybody just kind of went to the stadium and trained there. Yeah.
Oh, that's so different, because the year 2017 when I was there, Recursive was packed with games athletes.
Oh my goodness. Cara Webb would walk in and just kind of want to clear the room.
This area, which is
mine.
Half the gym.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We had the access then to the 40 bikes, 40 ski eggs, 40 rowers, everything.
Yeah. Did you see, or did you kind of have a chat with anyone in particular there? Anything that stood out?
Yeah. Oh my, I've missed her name. It'll come to me, but Miranda Oldroyd, is that
Oldroyd? Yeah. Was she competing?
No, hang on, no, it's not her. Oh my goodness, I have to look it up. Amazing lady. She does the wine and wine one. Oh God.
Oh, I know who you mean. It's not. She owns a wine company, is what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. She was competing.
Yes, I know who you mean. But I forgot the name as well.
It'll come to me. But
Jennifer something. I can't remember.
No. Anyway, I actually was training there there was really quiet when I first got there. One training session I did on my own. So you have this enormous space, absolutely enormous, and it was just me.
Yeah,
I was like, this is really, really
breathing heavy.
Yeah. And then more and more people kind of like drip fed in and started coming in and training, and but it was very different because I didn't have like really anybody there with me, which was just a very, very different experience last year.
Because Kyla didn't compete either. She had
she had a year off.
Yep. Have you had any interaction with Dave Castro at the games?
I don't think so.
He doesn't do any of the briefings, for the Masters.
He did one. He did last year. He came out and he said before the final workout, he came out and told us what we were going to do. And actually he came out and briefed us for a snatch workout, but he briefed us with the wrong weights on the snatch. And then about 5 minutes before we were about to go out into that event, the head guy who runs like the scheduling for all of it came over and said, okay, ladies, just so you know, there was an error in the weights. Your starting weight for the snatch is going to be 135 pounds. And we were like, no. Dave Castro told us it was going to be 125 pounds. He's like, yeah, well, he got it wrong. It's going to be 135. And we're like, you can't do that. This is the CrossFit Games. You can't just change it.
That's
and
exactly why they can do it.
Actually,
Classic
we can.
CrossFit.
This is what we can do, and this is what we're great at doing.
Yeah.
And then Dave Castro came out and announced the final as well.
Yeah. Did I hear something that he also came and said this might be the last year of the Masters?
He came and told us that the guy who normally programs for the Masters, who does the show with...
The Open show, yeah.
God, I've got no use for names in my head today. Shorter guy, really funny. He does it with...
Pat Sherwood.
Pat Sherwood.
Yes.
Pat Sherwood normally does. So he came out and he said, Pat Sherwood, who normally does the programming for the Masters, there's been some changes. He's not programming
He's
this
fired.
year. Yeah, he didn't say that, but yeah, he just told us there's been some changes. And then, one of the head guys that does regionals in Australia, the shorter American guy, not the big one with all the tattoos, with the really husky voice, but the smaller guy. Again, can't remember his name.
Yeah, I don't know what his name is.
He said he's doing the programming, and I asked him to schedule the final events for the Masters athletes, and he emailed them to me, and I went through them, and I liked some of them, and I didn't like some of the others, and I changed it, and this is what I've done. And so he came out, and then he told us what we were going to do.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be CrossFit unless there was some chaos in there.
Yeah,
it's part
100%.
of it. Yeah.
And to be honest with
unknowable.
you, I miss Dave Castro.
I think we all do right now.
Yeah, he kind of just brought a bit of kind of spunk to it. And it was kind of exciting seeing him there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was definitely entertaining in his own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. This year was just a mess, really, with the Open.
I think so.
Yeah. I think by the last workout, everyone's like, just bring Dave Castro back. We're happy.
Yeah.
It's funny how that changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And then you, see if I get this right, you did the qualifier for the ACC this year. So you did the games last year, which ended in August, I think. And then it sounds like you still wanted to compete, and you did the qualifier for the ACC, which was kind of jumped on everyone, and you competed individually on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, well, I actually wanted to go back to the games, but then when all the changes happened, I kind of lost my mojo a little bit with it, and I just didn't really understand what was happening, and I just thought, you know what, I don't want to go back to Madison for a third year. That's a lot of money to go over there, and like if they'd changed where it was going to be held and said, oh, it's in Canada this year, I would have definitely tried to go again this year, because I went up an age category, and I was like, this is my best chance.
Yeah.
I'm going up to the 45 to 49, like I might actually have a chance of standing on the podium, and I should go for it. But then when the changes happened and the location was the same, I was just like, I don't need to go back to Madison again. And then when they announced sanctionals, I was like, no, I really want to qualify for, because I'd qualified for regionals before
Individually,
2 or 3 times as an individual, but always ended up going with a team. And I was like, no, I want to qualify as an individual. I want this to be my last event.
So you already decided before going into the Gold Coast event that this is going to be my last event and you're going to retire?
Yeah, like training, like in the lead up to, like did the qualifier and just scraped in to qualify. And I remember like messaging Daz and saying, I'm really disappointed I didn't qualify. I think he was took the top 30, and I think I came 32nd or 33rd.
Yeah.
And then he messaged me back and he said, well, the leaderboard's not finalized yet. Like, you know,
this girl's going team.
Hang in there, right?
Yeah.
So when he called me and emailed me and said, yeah, you've qualified as an indie, I was like just so fired up for it. I just was really excited. I really wanted to do well.
Yeah.
And I actually felt physically and mentally the best I've ever felt in my CrossFit career. And I just, thought then this is a good time for me to finish feeling good. Like I didn't want to be forced out with injury or a bad experience or something going wrong. I just thought I feel great. That's the way to end on a high.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. So when you competed up there in the open category, which is different to obviously the masters category, how did you feel that your competitiveness were like your level were like with the girls up there? Because you did pretty well, I would say.
Yeah,
I don't know how you feel about it, but
I honestly think I did the best I've ever done, like CrossFit. Like there was movements in there, like that double kettlebell snatch. That's really heavy for me, like really heavy.
It was heavy for a lot of girls.
It was heavy for everyone, right? And then like the swimming event, things like that. I just wanted to do well. And I was just like, there's the only thing that's separating me from these other girls is my age. And I'm 45 now, and I knew that, you know I'm an older athlete, but it was kind of driven me even more to just like show the young girls how.
Yeah. I mean, you beat a lot of the younger girls.
Yeah, in some of the events. Yeah.
It was cool to see because I know you quite well, so I saw you compete up there, but then I also saw some girls on the other end of the age scale, like Tess Herring, and she was much younger, and like everyone kind of competing in the same field. So it was cool.
Great. Yeah, really good. Again, like warming out the back with Tess and Sam Briggs being there was another amazing kind of aspect to that.
Yeah,
I hung out a fair bit with Sam Briggs in that competition. It was great. We had the little Reebok reclining chairs and we'd chat and.
She is pretty chatty, hey.
Mate, she is one of the coolest people around. Really, really good lady. And then like Amy Alessi, like I know her. She used to train at our gym, and, just being there with people that I knew. And then, Harriet Roberts also there being in a team. And then just meeting new people like Simone Arthur, like one of the funniest women around, far out.
I had never seen her kind of behind the scenes before and never realized how crazy she is.
She's hilarious. Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
So is that a definite, you're done now?
Definitely I'm done. Yeah.
So not looking ahead to do any teams or anything like that with CrossFit?
No, I don't think so. I mean, that may change in the future. I don't know. Like I might get 12 months into my retirement and think to myself, no, maybe I want to do this again. But I'm really just enjoying my training at the moment and really just doing classes. I want to do other things like I'm going to do True Grit in June, just a military style obstacle course with running. Like I'm happy to do things like that. I'd like to do some more comps, definitely. Like when I told Wall I was retiring, he was like, let's do a comp together. Things like that down the track I'd definitely like to do. I'd like to do a comp with my husband and maybe a masters one with you. And I think Torian had a masters.
Yeah, Torian next year we definitely should try to do that.
Like I'm keen to do something like that, but I'm not keen to train on my own anymore. Those days are done.
Yeah.
I mean that training on my own I think made me a better athlete. Definitely. Yeah. Because you're forced to do things where you don't necessarily want to do. It's not fun doing that on your own. It's not fun snatching on your own in winter. I mean that sucks. But that makes you better, I think.
I think you had to do it to hit your goals, right? Yeah. To go to the games. That's a thing that people don't realize 100% what it's like when they go into it. If they have a goal to go to the games and you have big weaknesses you have to fill, you're going to have to put in some time by yourself, and it's not necessarily fun.
It's time with everything. You can't, like I think for 5 years I gave it pretty much everything. Like I ate well, I didn't drink, I trained, I never missed a session. I never really got sick, so I didn't have to worry about getting sick and like not being able to train, but I never missed a session. If Wall programmed something for me, I did it. It didn't matter what time I got there or how I got it done. I did it and did the best I could. And I never just went, I'm going to have a month off, or I'm going to have a week off, or I'm only just going to half-ass the session today. Like every time I trained with purpose. And I think if you want to go to the games or go to that next level, I think that's how you've got to look at your training.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's it's mad to look back at, hey, when you've done that journey.
Yeah.
All the small lessons that you learn. All right. So besides doing small competition, there's no other challenges that you're seeing ahead of you that you want to get into yet?
Not really. I'm studying nutrition at the moment, so that's something that I'm enjoying.
Yeah. Are you doing performance nutrition?
Yeah.
The precision nutrition course.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I love it. It's really good.
Yeah.
But I also think that maybe, just maybe, I might want to go to uni and become a nurse after all. But but we'll see. I don't know. Yeah. Like I'm kind of liking where my life is at the moment.
Yeah.
And spending more time with my family, and my daughters are teenagers now, and just kind of being more available for them. I was available for them before. My family always came first, but I think I may have been always a little bit like, no, I need to sleep and I need to eat properly, and we're not going there because I need to do this. And every holiday revolved around maybe I had to make sure that I could train and have access to a gym. And now it's like, if we want to go on a holiday, I don't have to train and I don't have to necessarily eat well. Like the whole of Easter I drank sparkling wine. It was great. I never did. I didn't do that for 5 years, right?
Yeah. I love how people who have gone through that hard training and done all those kind of boring choices, like you said, have to sleep X amount of hours every night, no drinking.
Yeah.
After you do that, how much more you appreciate those small things, which most people just do every weekend or every holiday. But you're like, we can go on a holiday and I don't have to worry about training and I don't have to worry about what I'm drinking.
Don't have to do any air squats, no push-ups, no running, no skipping, you know, making up your own like routines. I don't have to do any of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, to round it off, do you have any messages for the members at the gym, or anything that you have coming up, or anything about, I don't know, where you're taking your precision nutrition course, if that's something that you want to do with help members with in the future? Or
look, I don't know exactly where that's going to take me. I just it felt like a progression to me, because being a personal trainer as well, you kind of become people's everything. Like, you need to be available to give. I have to stay in my lane, obviously, like I'm not going to venture from that, but I need to have a little bit of knowledge about everything. You know, you end up becoming like a psychologist and a nutrition coach, and you know, just working in the health industry is something that I definitely want to pursue and get better at and train. But training at CrossFit Athletic and being part of that team has literally changed my life. Like, working with Wol, Harry, Kaz, Jared, I'm so lucky to have those people, you know, in my life, and I learn so much from them. Like Harry is just a knowledge bomb. He knows everything. Yeah. And he's just, like all of them, they're just great people to be around. And the members are, well, you know what it's like. You're a member at CFA, bloody legends, all of them.
It's so much fun to train down there.
Yeah.
All right, so if anyone isn't training at Athletic, it's definitely where you can find Hannah Chominsky. She coaches classes there pretty much every week, I think.
Yep.
And I think that's it. I think that was awesome.
Thanks, Kim.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks for chatting.
Thanks, Hannah.
Okay.